Clara Ruiz stood in the docking bay with her helmet under one arm and her mind full of questions and shadows. The black ship hung in space like a dark wound just above Jupiter. No one knew where it came from. No message, no warning, no heat. Just there one day. A shape without lights, without noise, without anything. Earth Command was scared, but they did not show it. They told the people everything was fine. They told the world this was just space junk. But Clara was not fooled. She had seen too many lies to believe in easy answers. That is why they called her in. Because Clara never looked away from the truth. Even when it burned. The mission was simple, or so they said. Go to the ship. Enter if you can. Report what you find. Do not die. She smiled at that last part when the officer gave her the orders. Do not die. As if she had not already done that, in every way that mattered. Her body was alive, sure. But her soul was somewhere else. Left behind on a battlefield no one wanted to remember. She climbed into the small shuttle that would carry her to the black ship. The metal walls hummed with energy as the engines kicked in. The stars around her blinked, and the planet below spun slowly. But her eyes stayed locked on that ship, that strange black thing in the sky. As the shuttle got closer, the ship became clearer. It was not just black. It was something else. Like it was eating the light. Like space itself was afraid to touch it. No windows, no doors, no marks. Just smooth, dark metal like stone, but alive. And yet Clara felt something. Not fear exactly, but something close. Something that made her heart beat faster and her breath slow down. The shuttle stopped just a few meters away from the ship's surface. The pilot spoke, but the words were cut off. The comms were gone. No sound, no signal. Just silence. Clara floated out of the shuttle and toward the ship. Her boots touched the surface. It was cold. So cold it burned. She placed her hand on the hull. Nothing happened. Then the metal shifted under her touch. A hole opened like a mouth in the dark. Clara stepped inside without a word. Inside it was even darker. But the walls glowed slightly. A deep blue like the ocean at night. Enough to see, but not enough to feel safe. Her suit lights blinked and then died. She reached for her sidearm. It was gone. She did not remember dropping it. It was just gone. The door behind her closed. No way back. Only forward. She walked slowly. The air inside was strange. It was not thick. Not thin. Just wrong. Her footsteps made no sound. And though she was alone, she felt watched. Followed. Judged. A long hallway stretched out before her. The walls pulsed like a heartbeat. Low and slow and steady. She passed symbols on the walls. Strange marks that seemed to move when she was not looking. They were not human. But somehow she understood them. Like a dream she had forgotten. She reached a round chamber with no lights. Just shadows. In the center was a chair. Not built for a human. But not built for anything else either. She stood there for a moment. Thinking. Breathing. Then she heard it. A voice. Not in her ears. But in her head. It was deep. Slow. Not male. Not female. Not alive. But not dead either. It said one thing. Are you the one who remembers? Clara froze. The air around her grew thick like fog. Her chest felt heavy. Her mind raced. She wanted to speak. But her mouth would not move. Then the voice came again. Are you the one who remembers? This time she felt something in the words. Pain maybe. Hope maybe. Both. She stepped closer to the chair. The room changed around her. The shadows moved like waves. And then she saw it. A flash of light. A memory not hers. A battle in space. Ships burning. People screaming. Then silence. The chair glowed. Waiting for her. Calling her. She did not know why. But she sat. The moment she did, everything changed. She saw Earth from above. Blue and small and quiet. She saw ships flying through space. Some human. Some not. She saw a future not yet real. And a past she never lived. And then she saw herself. But not her now. Her in another life. Wearing a different suit. Holding a strange weapon. Leading others. The voice returned. Softer now. You came before. You failed. You were broken. But you are here again. Clara gripped the arms of the chair. Her heart pounded. She wanted to scream, but she did not. She listened. The ship spoke again, its voice like wind through stone. The war is not over. The enemy is near. You are our last chance. You must remember, or all will fall. She wanted to ask who the enemy was. She wanted to know what war, what memory, what truth. But she could not speak. The room dimmed. The images faded, and she was alone again. Still in the chair. Still in the dark. But not afraid. Not anymore. Because something inside her was waking up. Something strong. Something old. Something human. She stood slowly. The walls around her pulsed once more. And this time she heard something new. A heartbeat. Not hers. The ship's. It was alive. And it had chosen her. Clara Ruiz. Daughter of Earth. Soldier of shadows. Memory of war. And now, captain of the black ship. The one that would change everything. Clara stood inside the black ship, with her heart still echoing the strange beat she had heard. The chair behind her was silent now. The lights dimmed once again. But something had changed. She felt it in her skin. In her blood. The ship had done something to her. Or maybe it had woken something already there. She took a slow step forward, and the walls opened without a sound. The hallway ahead looked different from before. Brighter. Wider. As if it had been waiting for her to move. She walked carefully. Her boots touched the strange floor that felt like both metal and skin. It shifted slightly under each step. Not enough to throw her off. Just enough to remind her that the ship was not dead. It was watching. Listening. Judging. The hallway turned left and then right. Always opening just before she reached the end. Like it knew where she wanted to go. Or maybe it was leading her to where it wanted her to be. After a few turns, she entered a large chamber. The air inside was warmer. The walls were covered in glowing lines. Lines that pulsed like rivers of light. In the center of the room stood a platform. Raised. Silent. Waiting. Clara stepped onto the platform. The lights in the chamber dimmed. And the walls began to move. Not turn. Not twist. But shift like water under glass. Images formed. Moving pictures. Not screens. Not projections. Something else. At first the images were slow. Soft colors. Clouds. Mountains. Rivers. Then came cities. Buildings. Lights. People. It was Earth. But not as it was now. As it had been long ago. Before space travel. Before war. Then the images changed. Faster now. Tanks rolling. Bombs falling. Skies burning. Clara saw the wars of old. The pain. The fire. The fear. She reached out. Her hand touched nothing. But the image paused. She saw a small girl crying beside a broken home. She knew that face. Not from memory, but from feeling. She stepped off the platform and the images vanished. The room returned to shadows and soft light. A voice entered her mind again. Not loud. Not soft. Just clear. Do you understand now? She stood still. The question hung in the air like smoke. What do you want from me? She asked. Her voice cracked. Dry and unsure. But the voice answered. Not want. Need. You are the echo. You are the key. You are the last door. She did not understand. Not yet. But she wanted to. The wall beside her opened again. Another hallway. Shorter. Darker. She walked into it without thinking. Trust was a strange word for Clara. But here, in this ship, with no map, no guide, no backup, she had no choice but to follow. The hallway led to another room. This one smaller, more quiet, almost cold. In the center was a sphere floating in the air, black like the ship itself, but smooth like glass. It spun slowly, silently. Clara reached out. Her fingers touched the surface, and her mind fell into it. She saw stars, millions, moving fast, blinking in and out. She saw ships, big ones, fast ones, strange ones. She saw a war, not from Earth, not human. She saw machines tearing through planets, alien cities falling into fire. She saw the black ship fighting them, alone, Strong. But hurt. She saw it fall. Crash into silence. Sleep. Then she saw Earth again. The black ship drifting toward it slowly. Quietly. Looking. Searching. And then it found her. Clara pulled her hand back. Breathing hard. Sweating. The sphere vanished. The room darkened. Then the voice returned. You are the memory. You are the seed. The enemy waits. You must awaken. She wanted to shout. To demand answers. To know what enemy. What war. Why her? But the ship was silent again. A doorway opened behind her. A ramp leading down. She followed it. The room below was wide and open. No lights. Just stars through a clear wall. In the center stood something tall, covered in dark panels. As she stepped closer, the panels opened. Inside was a suit, not like the one she wore. This was something more. Thinner. Stronger. Built from the same black metal as the ship. The voice returned. This is yours. It remembers you. It waits for your command. Clara stepped forward. Her hands touched the suit. It moved like liquid, wrapping around her slowly, gently. It fit perfectly, like it had always been hers. Lights in the room came alive. Panels lit up. Walls shifted. The ship was responding to her. It was testing her still, but now it was also listening. She walked to the front of the room, where a console rose from the floor. She placed her hand on it and felt the ship breathe. Her eyes closed, and in her mind she saw the solar system. Earth spinning, Mars glowing red, Jupiter wide and storming. She saw a shadow moving beyond Pluto. A shape. Slow. Massive. The voice whispered. They come. They do not stop. They do not speak. They do not forgive. You must decide. Run or stand. Clara opened her eyes. The room was quiet, but the choice was loud in her chest. She did not know what the ship truly was, or what the enemy looked like, but she knew this. Earth had no idea what was coming, and she was now the only one who could stop it. The ship had chosen her, not for what she was, but for what she could become. Clara Ruiz, broken soldier, now captain of a ghost ship, now voice of a forgotten war. She took a breath. Her hand stayed on the console. The black ship waited, and the black ship moved like a shadow in space. It did not roar. It did not shine. It slid through the dark, like it belonged there, like it had never stopped moving. Clara stood in the command room with the black suit still wrapped around her body. She could feel the ship inside her skin. Not touching, not hurting, just there, like a whisper at the back of her thoughts. The stars passed by the windows, closer than before, brighter, like they were watching. The voice came again, soft, deep, familiar. You are ready now, but there's more to learn. The heart of the ship is still locked. Only you can open it. Clara said nothing. She only nodded, her eyes fixed on the glowing lines in the wall that seemed to shift with her every breath. A door opened beside her, wide and dark. She stepped through it. The hall behind the door was unlike the others. It was colder, more quiet. Even the air felt heavy. The walls were smooth and black, but deeper in color than before, almost like they were made from the night itself. The path curved downward, a slow spiral. Each step felt longer than the one before. As she walked, the lights began to flicker. Not like before. These lights were red, like warning lights, like something dangerous was near. At the bottom of the path, she found another door. This one did not open for her right away. It waited. The voice returned. This is the chamber of the weapon. You may enter, but only if your heart is true. Clara placed her hand on the door. She felt something like heat, but it did not burn. It felt like memory, like pain remembered, like hope waiting in silence. The door opened. Inside was a room the size of a stadium. High walls, endless dark. In the center floated a shape. Not a gun, not a bomb, but something alive. Sharp angles, curved edges, all of it pulsing with dim red light. Clara stepped closer. The air around the weapon felt thick, each breath harder than the last. But she kept walking. The weapon spoke to her without words. It showed her things. Flashes of old battles. Ships shattered. Worlds broken. Soldiers screaming without sound. It showed her how the weapon worked. Not with bullets. Not with beams. But with thought. With focus. With the mind of the one who holds it. The ship spoke again. This is the blade of silence. It cuts through matter. Time. Space. It was made to end wars. But only in the hands of one who understands loss. Clara remembered her team. The mission that went wrong. The fire. The screams. The last look on their faces before everything went black. She reached for the weapon. It did not resist. It floated into her hand, like it had always waited for her. The blade was not heavy, but it felt full. Like it carried stories. Old ones. Sad ones. The walls around her shifted again, this time showing more than war. They showed the creation of the weapon. Not by humans. Not by machines. But by something else. Something long gone. They showed peace. And then betrayal. The weapon used not to protect, but to control. To erase. Clara felt her knees weaken. She almost dropped the blade. But then she saw something else. A face. Human. Smiling. Her own. In a past she had never lived. The ship whispered, "You have held this before. In another time. Another life. You failed then. You may not fail now." She stood tall again. The weapon now silent. Its red light dimmer. Like it was resting. Waiting for a command. She turned and walked out of the chamber. Up the spiral path. The red lights now calm. The air lighter. The ship seemed to hum in a new tone. Deeper. Stronger. Back in the command room the console was awake. New symbols glowed on the panels. Ones she had never seen before. But somehow understood. Weapon system online. Energy core stable. Shield matrix ready. Pilot command accepted. The ship had changed. Or maybe she had. Clara stepped toward the center of the room. The stars outside no longer just lights in the sky. They felt like a map. Like something was out there waiting for her. She asked the ship where they were going. The voice answered. To the edge of the system. Where the watchers hide. Where danger grows. Where answers live. She did not ask what watchers. She already knew. Something had been watching Earth. Waiting for weakness. And the ship had felt it. Heard it in the silence between stars. Clara gave the command. Take me there. The ship obeyed. It moved faster now. Past the orbit of Jupiter. Past Saturn. Into deep space where few had ever gone. Clara sat in the black chair. The blade resting beside her. Her fingers touching the hilt now and then. Just to feel that it was still real. She was not afraid. Not anymore. She had the ship. The suit. The weapon. But more than that, she had herself. Clara Ruiz. Once a soldier. Once broken. Now whole again. She looked out the window. And saw something in the dark. A light. A shape. Something huge. And not human. The voice came one last time. They are here. And they do not come in peace. Clara stood at the front of command room watching the stars drift past as the ship moved into deep space. The stars looked different out here. Sharper. Colder. Like they knew something was wrong. She could feel the black ship changing again. It moved with more purpose now. Not drifting. Not searching. It was hunting. Ahead of them was a small moon. Cold and empty. Floating beyond the reach of any human satellite. There should have been nothing there. But something was hiding behind it. The ship slowed as it neared the far side of the moon. The lights inside flickered once. Then turned blood red. Clara felt it before she saw it. A weight in her chest. A tightness in her throat. The sense that something was watching her from the dark. Then she saw them. Shapes in the shadow. Not one. Not two. But hundreds. Ships. Not human. They were long and sharp and twisted like metal grown from bone. No windows. No lights. No signs of life. They floated in perfect silence. Waiting. The black ship spoke to Clara, without words. The voice clearer than ever before. They have come for Earth. They sleep no longer. They wait for the signal. Clara leaned forward and stared at the alien fleet. She could not look away. A soft sound rang through the command room. Low and steady. Not from her ship. From theirs. It was not a message. It was not a warning. It was a rhythm, a countdown. She asked the ship how long they had. The voice replied, "They move when the moon turns again, when its shadow touches the sun. Then they begin." Clara did the math in her head. 6 hours, maybe less. She thought of Earth, so far behind, unaware, unready. She thought of the leaders who would argue, who would delay, who would not believe her until it was too late. She gripped the edge of the console and took a long breath. The black ship waited for her command. It would not act without her. She asked what they could do. The voice answered, "We are faster. We are stronger. But we are only one. If they wake together, we fall." Clara stared at the enemy fleet. All silent, all still. An idea formed in her mind. Not to fight all of them, but to stop the signal. If she could destroy the ship that sent the order, the others might stay sleeping. She pointed to the largest alien ship, the one in the center. It glowed slightly at the core, its shape more complex, more alive. She asked the ship if that was the source. The voice replied, "Yes, that one speaks to the rest. Kill the heart and the body stays silent." Clara nodded, then paused. Something in the back of her mind whispered, "What if I fail?" The ship answered her without fear. "Then they wake, and the stars will fall." Clara moved to the weapons panel. The symbols glowed under her fingers. The ship opened its systems for her. She felt the power flow through the hull. The weapon she had claimed now pulsed at her side, the blade of silence ready to strike. She gave the order, "Take us in." The black ship moved. It slid toward the alien fleet, like a shadow within shadows. No lights, no sound, no signal, just speed. As they neared the center ship, Clara felt her heartbeat match the pulse of the weapon. She could see the glow at the enemy core getting brighter. They knew she was coming. The voice spoke again. "They are waking." Clara did not wait. She raised the blade, not with her hand, with her mind. She aimed at the glowing heart of the enemy ship. The black ship opened its weapon ports. Panels moved aside. Energy lines lit up across the hull. But no sound came. This was not war with fire. This was war with thought. The blade fired. A beam of pure silence shot through space. It did not shine. It did not scream. It moved like a knife through water. The enemy ship reacted too late. The beam hit the core. The glow vanished. For a moment everything was still. Then the enemy ship cracked in half. Not from explosion, from collapse, like something inside had been cut out of time. But the silence did not last. The other ships stirred. Clara felt it before she saw it. The fleet moved like one thing, like one body with 1,000 limbs. They turned toward her. The voice warned her, "They are no longer sleeping." Clara shouted for the ship to turn, to run. But she already knew it was too late. The nearest alien ship fired a beam of light, so sharp it cut the stars. The black ship twisted, dodged. The beam missed, but only barely. Clara held on as the ship spun. Shields raised. Engines burned hot. She gave new orders. "Return fire. Aim wide. Do not let them surround us." The black ship obeyed. Its silent weapons fired again. Beams of darkness cut across space. 2 enemy ships broke apart. Then a third. But they kept coming. Clara saw them closing in. 10, 20, more behind them. She asked the ship how long they could last. The voice paused, then answered, "Long enough to be remembered." Clara gritted her teeth, her hands shaking. Not from fear, from fury. She would not die here. Not without warning Earth. Not without trying. She opened a long-range channel, pushed every signal she could into deep space. "This is Clara Ruiz. Enemy fleet detected. Engaged in combat. This is not a drill. This is not training. This is war." The signal burst into the dark. Whether Earth would hear it or not she did not know. But she had to believe. The black ship circled away from the fleet, burned through the void. More ships followed. The stars blurred behind them. Clara looked back one last time, and saw more coming. Clara sat in the dark with her fingers gripping the side of the black command chair. The black ship moved fast through deep space. Alien ships chased close behind. Their beams cut the darkness like blades of burning ice. Each one missed by seconds, but they were learning. She felt the hum of the ship's mind under her skin. It was focused, alive, but slowing. The voice came again. Clear, steady, heavy. They are many. We are one. Soon we fall. Unless you choose. Clara stared ahead. The stars were distant again. The moon behind them gone. The danger knot. She looked at the glowing map on the console. It showed their path, their speed, their energy, and their hope. A red ring blinked around the black ship. It meant damage. Not enough to stop, but enough to bleed. She knew what the voice meant. She knew what it was asking. She had to choose. The ship could keep running. Escape for now. Hide in the belt. Wait for Earth to catch the signal. Hope they would prepare. Or she could stop. Turn around. Face the enemy. Buy time. Risk death. Clara stood from the chair and walked to the wall. It showed images again. Flashes of the past. Flashes of herself. She saw her old team. Laughing once. Then screaming. Then gone. She saw her face. Younger. Colder. Harder. She saw the woman who followed orders. The woman who watched good soldiers die because no one dared to act first. She reached out and touched the wall. The image rippled like water. She whispered to the ship, "What happens if I fight alone?" The voice answered, "The enemy delays. The Earth hears. The black ship falls. You fall." She closed her eyes. The suit tightened around her chest. Her breath slowed. Then she asked, "What happens if I run?" The voice waited. Then it spoke again. "The enemy moves faster. Earth does not believe. The sky burns." She opened her eyes. The image on the wall changed. She saw Earth from above. Blue. Full of life. Then it turned red. Covered in fire. Covered in black. She turned from the wall. Returned to the chair. Her hands hovered above the console. She gave the order. "Turn around." The black ship responded at once. The engines flared. The stars spun. The alien ships came back into view. Closer now. Hungrier. Clara looked at the weapon controls. She opened the chamber for the blade of silence. It floated in the air before her. Still. Cold. Waiting. She reached for it. Her fingers wrapped around the hilt. The blade pulsed with red light. It remembered. She felt the weight of it in her mind. Not heavy. Just real. Like memory. The ship aligned itself with the nearest alien vessel. A fast one. Thin. Sharp. It moved like a dart in the dark. Clara focused. She sent the command through the blade. No words. No sounds. Only will. The black ship fired. A silent line tore through the void. The enemy ship broke in half. Gone in a breath. But 5 more replaced it. Clara ordered evasive moves. The ship twisted and turned. Energy blasts missed them by seconds. She fired again. And again. The black ship cut 2 more from the sky. But a new signal blinked on the console. Another wound. This time deeper. The ship groaned around her. The lights dimmed. The floor shook. Clara held on. She shouted at the ship. "How much more can we take?" The voice came slower this time. "We are breaking, but not yet broken." She took a deep breath. Looked at the radar. More ships closed in. Surrounding. She had only one chance left. The blade of silence had a second level. The ship had shown it to her in the memory chamber. A pulse. A wave. Not to destroy, but to disable. But the cost was high. The blade would burn. The ship would stall. She might not survive. Clara thought of Earth again. Of the people. The cities. The children. She thought of her old team. What they would do. She gave the order. Prepare the pulse. The ship hesitated. Then accepted. The blade glowed brighter. The command chair locked into place. Panels shut tight. A voice came one last time. "This will stop them. But it may stop us too." Clara nodded. "Do it." The pulse began. Red light filled the room. The ship shook like thunder in a storm. The stars vanished behind the glow. A ring of energy burst from the black ship. Wide. Silent. Final. It hit the alien fleet in full force. Ship stopped in place. Systems crashed. Weapons froze. The chase ended. Clara sat still, breathing hard, her vision blurry. The lights in the command room faded. The engines went quiet. The ship floated. The voice was silent. She waited. 1 minute. 2. 3. Then a soft sound. Faint. Distant. Earth Command received your signal. Backup in motion. Survivors will find you. Rest now. Clara smiled. Not a wide smile. Not joy. Just peace. She leaned back in the chair. Looked out at the stars. The black ship drifted but did not fall. The enemy was not gone. But they were stopped. And Earth had time. Clara closed her eyes. She had made her choice. And Clara drifted in the black command chair while the black ship floated near the rings of Saturn. Its engines were silent. Its lights low. The last pulse had stopped the enemy fleet, but had also drained everything. Clara's breath was slow and heavy. Her suit was cold against her skin. The blade no longer glowed. It rested beside her like a sleeping ghost. The stars outside blinked like they were watching her, waiting, like the whole sky was holding its breath. Then a sound came. Not loud, not harsh. A soft tone. Faint but steady. The voice returned. We are waking. Systems damaged. Power returning. Clara opened her eyes. The stars were still there. But now so was something else. A shadow moved near the rings. Not alien. Not enemy. A human signal. She checked the console. The markings showed friendly code. Earth fleet. Small. Late. But not too late. Clara tried to speak, but her voice cracked. She tried again. This is Captain Clara Ruiz. Black ship holding position. Hostile fleet disabled. We need support now. The signal went out. Then silence. She stared at the radar. It showed the Earth ships moving toward her. 3 vessels. Fast. Armed. Still unsure. Then a voice came through the speaker. Clara, is that really you? Command says you're dead. She smiled. Not dead. Not yet. But close enough. The Earth ships stopped a few clicks from her position. Scanning. Measuring. Fearing. She told them to wait. She told them what she had seen. What she had done. What was coming. There was a long pause. Then they answered. We believe you. We saw your signal. We saw the sky light up. Clara nodded. She stood from the chair. Her legs weak. Her body tired. The black ship lit up slowly. Its systems rebooted. One by one. The weapon bay closed. The shields returned. The engine whispered. The voice spoke again. We can move. But we are slower now. Clara turned her gaze toward deep space. Beyond the rings. Beyond Saturn. Toward the dark. The enemy was not finished. They had more ships. More fleets. More worlds. The ones she stopped were only scouts. She knew it now. She asked the black ship, how far until we reach them? The voice answered, not far. They gather near the edge. Preparing. She looked at the Earth ships. Young vessels. Bright metal. Unmarked by war. She called them again. We must go forward. We must strike before they wake again. The captains argued. They said they were not ready. They said Earth was not ready. Clara said nothing for a moment. Then she spoke. Earth was not ready before either. But we still fight. We always fight. They went silent. Then one answered. You lead. We follow. Clara turned the black ship toward the stars. Toward the dark. The Earth ships formed behind her. 3 shadows under Saturn's eye. The fleet moved. The stars shifted. The map changed. Ahead was a cluster of strange signals. Not planets. Not bases. Something else. She felt the blade pulse once. Only once. She knew they were close. The black ship slowed as the signals grew clearer. They looked like clouds. Like gas. But shaped too well. Held together too tightly. They were ships. Thousands. Hidden inside a nebula of dust and silence. Each one bigger than the ones before. Each one asleep. For now. Clara stared at them. Her breath frozen. She asked the black ship, can we win? The voice answered, not with fire, only with mind. She understood. This was not just a war of weapons. This was a war of purpose. She opened a line to the Earth ships. She told them to hold, to scan, to wait. She needed to see more, to know more. The black ship moved closer, quiet, invisible, watching. Then she saw it, a shape in the center of the fleet, larger than any other, almost like a station, but alive. It pulsed with light, slow, rhythmic. It was the source, the queen, the brain. Clara whispered, "That one. We strike that one." The Earth ships began to charge weapons. Clara stopped them. "No. Wait. Let me try first." The voice in the black ship hesitated, then accepted. Clara reached for the blade, held it tight, felt its energy rise again. She sent a message, not through radio, through thought, a wave of memory, a wave of sorrow, of warning. She sent them her mind, the images of war, of Earth, of fire, of her team, of pain, of choice. Then silence. The alien fleet did not move. Not yet. Then the great ship at the center stirred. Its light blinked. Its shape shifted. A sound rang through the void. A response. Clara listened. It was not words, not images, but feeling. Fear. Not of death, of change. They feared her. They fear humans. Not because of power, because of will. Because humans never stopped, never gave up, even when broken. She sent one more message. We do not want to die, but we do not run. The alien ship responded again, this time different, soft, almost like a question. Then it stopped. The fleet around it stayed still. Clara waited. 1 second, 2, 10. Then the great ship turned away, and the others followed. Clara watched as the entire enemy fleet turned slowly and moved back into the dust, into the dark. They did not fire. They did not chase. They simply left. The Earth ships cried victory. They cheered. They shouted. Clara did not. She sat in the command chair, silent, still. The voice spoke again. They will return, but not today. She nodded, then whispered back, "We will be ready." The stars were quiet as the black ship floated near the edge of the system. The enemy fleet was gone. The dust was still. No lights followed. No sound chased. Only silence. Clara sat in the dark command chair with her hand resting on the hilt of the blade. The Earth ships were near. Their engines dim. Their hulls safe. They had survived. For now. The black ship hummed low around her. Its systems were tired. Its voice soft. But it was alive. Clara looked out at the space ahead. Empty. Wide. Unknown. The voice returned. Not as strong as before, but clear. We did not win. We paused the storm. She nodded slowly. The blade pulsed once. Its light dim like a heartbeat in sleep. She knew the fight was not over. But something had changed. Earth had seen. The fleet had followed. The message was sent. And the sky had listened. She rose from the chair and walked to the center console. Panels opened. A new symbol appeared. One she had never seen before. Simple. Sharp. Human. The ship had added her mark. Clara Ruiz. Soldier of Earth. Captain of the black ship. She touched the mark and felt the ship respond. "You are now part of our memory," said the voice. "Your story is written." Outside the window, the stars shifted again. A signal came from the Earth fleet. They had orders. Return to base. Begin report. Begin preparation. She opened the channel. "Tell command the truth," she said. "Tell them the enemy is not gone. Tell them they are only waiting." The reply came quickly. "They will listen now. You changed everything." She closed the channel and stood in silence. The black ship asked her one question. "Where do we go now?" Clara did not answer right away. She walked to the edge of the room and looked through the glass, her eyes on the distant stars. The ones past Pluto, past the belt, the ones no human had ever touched. She thought of Earth, of oceans, of children, of the sound of birds in the morning, of voices on old radios, of laughter that felt like home. She thought of war, of her team, of the choice she had made. Then she spoke. "We go forward." The ship accepted. The engines warmed slowly. The lights rose like dawn. The blade returned to its chamber. The suit opened around her body and faded into the walls. She was no longer just a captain. She was the heart. The stars outside grew brighter as the ship moved again. Not running, not chasing, just watching. She passed the moon where it all began. She passed Mars and its cold red sands. She passed Earth. The ship slowed as it neared the planet. Not to stop, only to see. Below were cities, lights, mountains, clouds, life. The people were looking up. They had seen her story. They had heard the signal. And now they waited. The black ship sent no message. It only hovered for a moment, long enough for the world to know she was real, long enough for the world to understand. Then it turned away. The Earth ships stayed behind. But Clara moved forward. She passed the edge of the system, past the long silent satellites, past the dust, into the dark. The ship spoke again. There are more signals ahead. Strange ones, unknown ones. They may be friend. They may be threat. Clara smiled. Then we keep watching. We keep learning. The ship agreed. A new chamber opened in the lower deck. Inside was something she had never seen. A seed. Not a plant. Not metal. Something else. The voice explained. This is the beginning of another ship. It will grow with time, with mind, with memory. Clara reached out and touched it. It felt warm, alive. One day there will be more. The voice said, not just one black ship, but many, each with a captain, each with a story. Clara nodded. Not all battles are fire. Some are choices. Some are patience. The stars moved faster now, not because the ship sped up, but because her mind was clearer, her path more sure. She was no longer lost, no longer broken. She was the first to cross this line, the first to carry both alien and human memory, the first to speak in silence and be heard. The legend began with her name, but it would not end there. She recorded her voice into the ship's core. This is Clara Ruiz, captain of the black ship. This is not a story of victory. This is a story of warning, of hope, of what waits in the dark, and what lives in the light. She saved the file and locked it deep inside the ship's heart, so that one day, when another human steps inside, when another soldier stands at the edge, they will know they are not the first. They will know someone once stood here and chose to fight, and they will choose too. The ship moved past the last known star, into new space, into the unknown. No flags, no cheers, no song, only the hum of engines, and the steady sound of her breath. The black ship was no longer just a weapon. It was a story, and stories never sleep. The stars ahead were not quiet. They whispered, waiting for the next name, the next chapter. Clara closed her eyes and smiled again. She was not alone. Not anymore.